Hey, you, what's happening at work? What's keeping you up at night? What's causing you frustration or depleting your wellness at work? Talk to me and with me. This is Joyce Odidison, your host with the What's Happening at Work show, where we create solutions to work, live, and play well. Join me now for next episode. I am freaking out having to work at home. I'm not as productive working at home. I can't get my rhythm on at work. I don't concentrate the same. I don't get as much done. I'm distracted. These and many of the other complaints I hear from my clients about remote work. Folks, remote work is not a new thing. It has always been there and it always will be. The challenge with COVID-19 is that a lot of us are doing remote work not by choice or voluntarily. We feel some level of this is put upon us. So we are facing huge internal conflicts between how we've been socialized to view work as outside the home and our current reality where work has come to us and all of us are dealing with it differently. My name is Joyce Odidison. I want to welcome you to this episode. Let's talk about the mindset shift we need to have to be able to master remote work. You see, for centuries, humans have gone outside their homes in search of food, shelter, clothing. Think back to the caveman. He got up in the morning, he took his axe and his arrow on his shoulder, and out he went. So it's built in our DNA to go out in search of food, of warmth. He had to bring a kill home in order to feed his family. At the end of the day, he had to bring the firewood to keep the house warm and to cook the food. So it's not unusual for us to feel cooped up, for us to feel almost imprisoned by not being able to go out and having essential services only open. We can't go to the movies, we can't go to the restaurant, we can't just do what we want to anymore because COVID-19 has put a damper on our norm. And when you think back about it, food, shelter, and clothing are basic needs without which we will die. And the knowledge of that makes us unsafe. It makes us unwell. And when we're unsafe, we don't think clearly. When we feel some kind of risk to our safety, our brain doesn't relax enough for us to focus intensely on the work that we need to do. So it's very important for us to stop and put on a wellness mindset shift. We need to put wellness, health and wellness way up there at the top because it used to be food, shelter, clothing. Some of us are stressed about that even when our pantries are full, our cupboards are full. We are stressed about being cooped up at home, having to work from home, remote work, and we complain and we forget that there are some people who don't even have food in the pantry. The reality is that we're all going to be dealing differently with this internal conflict. And just like any good conflict, we need to do the work, right? We need to do the work of going inside and finding out what we have to do. This internal conflict between our desire to comply with the rules, what's out there, versus our desire to provide our basic needs or for enjoyment and fun is what's driving us crazy. It's causing stress. It's causing overwhelm. It's causing fast heart rate. It's really impacting us in a big way because we are used to having those things at our fingertips. It doesn't matter that we are in warm homes and we have good foods. No, that's not it. The reality is our norm has been shaken up. We are outside of our comfort zone and we're experiencing internal conflict. Every day for centuries, Humans have had to leave their home to find food, wood, find things to create warmth and comfort, and bring it back. We have the same DNA now. So later, when we exchange our axe and our pickaxe and our bows and arrows for pens and computers and our knowledge, which is what we get paid for in today's society, we still have the same instinct to go out there and fend for ourselves. This norm has been disrupted immensely. So we have to do things differently. So my cousin comes up and he says, Joyce, I am struggling with working from home. This is not my norm. I love going out. I want to go out. So I said to him, what's your routine? He said, well, my routine is usually I get up in the morning, and I mean his routine pre-COVID, right? What was your routine before COVID-19? I asked him. So, well, before COVID-19, I would get up, have a cup of coffee, or just go straight out and stop at, and pick up coffee on the way drive-through. And I said, so what do you do now? Well, I get up, I make coffee at home, I feed my daughter, I see her off to school, and then I feel lost. I said, of course, because you've completely changed everything in your norm. If you are facing this huge internal conflict, we always go back to the common ground. When I'm working with someone to resolve a conflict, I go to them and I said, here are the common grounds. Here's where we need to negotiate. Here's what you have in common. When we're facing internal conflicts like this, we need to go back and say, what's familiar? What's the routine? What's the norm? It's a similar, our brain looks at it the same way. So based on that, you're going to say, what did I do before? Well, you got up in the morning, you had coffee, you went to pick up coffee in the drive-thru. Then go and do that. Get up, take your shower, get dressed, go get your coffee from the drive-thru, and you would have normally just gone to the office. So now I'm going to invite you to not just go to the office, but rather go to your home office, right? Where do you work? Is it your kitchen table? Go there and put on your dress clothes. Too many of us have stopped getting ready in the morning for work. And that has gotten our brain in like, wow, I guess it's the weekend. We should just relax. Why should we work? Right? Because your brain is already programmed that when you put on sweats and t-shirt, you're going to hang out on the couch and you're going to pick up the remote. Or you're going to do yard work. Or you're going to clean up. Or housework. Or you're going to be cooking. Those are clothes that your brain now relates to what you're doing. So it's imperative for you to not follow that same pattern. Go back to your work pattern. Get up, shower, brush your teeth, get dressed, put on some makeup. You probably don't need as much makeup, but some little thing, right? If you used to use makeup, you used to put on eyeshadow, maybe you don't need all three. Maybe you don't need the blush. Maybe you just need some lip gloss. Maybe you just need to comb your hair, brush your hair back. But make some effort to maintain your routine, and then your brain is going to get the message that I am getting ready, myself, my physical self, ready for work. You better get your internal self ready for work. The other thing that I love to do this exercise with people who are telling me that, is the wellness assessment. It's really the wellness assessment mindset, because you're going to do that mindset assessment to see how well you're doing in those areas of your life. Because remember I talked earlier about us feeling unsafe? Sometimes there are things in our life we're going to see more now that we're home. Everything is visible. Oh, I get to see, the wall needs painting. Oh, the baseboards need washing. Oh, all these. You're going to see more things. So it's imperative that you start looking at what should I be focusing in and not go helter-skelter, right? Pick your battles. With this assessment, we get to assess our spiritual, social, emotional, financial, all of those dimensions, your physical, and then you get to identify 1 or 2 areas you want to start working on so you don't overwhelm and overburden yourself. So you pick one area where you're not doing as well as you thought, and you start working on it. Then you can get yourself to a place where you thoroughly are more in control of your thoughts, and remote work doesn't be such a chore. If you used to take coffee break at work, then schedule the coffee break at 10:30. You take a break. Look at the luxury you have. You can watch the news because you're now at home. You can now go make a cup of coffee. You can eat breakfast later. You have so many more privileges. Remote work has offered us so many more privileges. You don't have to work in traffic and be out there hustling and stand in traffic, crawling. So many things we have to be grateful for remote work. And we're not in danger or putting our loved ones in danger. So what are some things that you can be thankful for? Those are another way to look at remote work. But you also need to do your internal work. And that's why I like that assessment. Because when you start looking at where you should be doing the work, you're going to start to see what you need to do. Because if we don't address the internal conflict we're having, it's going to become an interpersonal conflict. We're going to kick the cat. We're going to yell at the spouse. We're going to scream at the kids. We're going to get mad at our parents. Things are going to be more irritated and frustrated. And we cannot afford to do that in a time where we're housebound and we have to be with people 24/7. You want to be really nice to them. Could you imagine stuck with somebody you don't like or don't like you or have to yell at or you're not in a good mood with 24/7 for the next 3 weeks? It's not a nice thing. So it's really important for you to practice interpersonal wellness right now by doing your internal work. This way, you can still work together, live together, and play together. Because that's important. We still need work, live, and play in our lives, even if we're doing remote work. Even during remote work, we need to still have that balance of work, live, and play. So you want to work well, live well, play well. You don't want to be snapping at your colleagues or getting mad and irritated and impatient with your colleagues because they don't take it seriously, because they this, because they that. No two people are going to address this the same way. So don't go getting mad at your colleagues and getting mad at the way they're behaving and the way they're taking this because they happen to be taking it differently than you are. It's a reality. So you need to decide what you need to be working on. Do your work. Every day for centuries, people go out. You're not the first one. All of us, for the first time, are in the same situation. We have the same DNA and all of us are in the same situation. It's time to check yourself. If there are areas in your life where you're not doing well, at this time, it will cause us discomfort, stress, conflicts. We need to take care of ourselves even more so than ever. Otherwise, we are going to be in very unhappy households. Like with any conflict, we need to do the internal work in order to prevent and respond appropriately to the outside stimuli. Because if we're not doing the internal work, we're not going to respond appropriately. We're not going to get the solutions we want, and we're not going to stay out of a physical conflict. So it's incredibly important for us to do the work. Very, very important to do our external work, get ourselves in gear, and ensure that our relationships are going to survive the lockdown. Never mind, the lockdown is temporary, but our families we have to live with for the rest of our lives. We don't want to have such big blow-ups that we can't live with our family after the blow-ups. And we hear about divorces and fights and domestic abuse and all of those things. It's because we're not doing our work, and it's imperative for us to do our work so we can, our internal work, get that wellness mindset shift, pull wellness up to the front, Go ahead, go now, download the assessment, interpersonalwellness.com, download the assessment, get it, put it in, do it, see how well you're doing, get the tools to improve how well you're doing. Start taking the steps, improving. If you have any questions, send me an email, joyce@interpersonalwellness.com. I'd be more than happy to walk you through the steps and help you. And you can join throughout COVID. You are welcome to join my coaching sessions. For the first 2 sessions, you can join free. It's important that we do that. We have to help each other to go through this. Otherwise, we're all going to be in trouble. I need you to be well and whole after COVID. So that's my gift. So if you're struggling at work, if you are one of those people who actually have to go to work while your colleagues are working remotely and you're envying them, you need to do your work so you can get yourself in balance, so you're not snapping at them and telling them, oh yeah, nice, good for you, right? And feeling sorry for yourself. We need to all measure ourselves so that our relationships can be healthy during COVID-19. This is Joyce Odidison, and I'm so excited that we're back on podcasting and sharing with you. I can't wait to hear your comments and your feedback. How are you doing with COVID? How are you doing with remote work? Are you getting tips? Are you getting solutions? Are you doing your work? Don't forget, download the wellness assessment, interpersonalwellness.com, and let me know how you're doing. Send me a message, joyceodidison.com, joyceodidison@interpersonalwellness.com, and we can always get you hooked up for our next coaching session. Take care and be well. Bye now. You've been listening to What's Happening at Work. This is Joyce Odidison, your host, and I want to thank you for being with us. Thank our guests and our sponsors, Interpersonal Wellness Services, Inc., the Global Workplace Wellness Summit, and of course, the Wellness Competency Mindset Movement. And if you want to hear from us, learn more, or get more episodes, join us at interpersonalwellness.com, where we help you to work, live, and play well. Bye now, and we'll see you for another episode.